When I need answers about anything to do with personal growth, I go straight to my mom and my aunt. Here they are, Priscilla Babin and Tina Gilliatt with the sister sauce.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Sister Sauce. I'm here with my sister, Priscilla Babin. Say hi,
Hello.
Priscilla. And I am Tina Gilliatt. I thought you were going to say hi, Priscilla.
Oh, I can if you want. Hi, Priscilla. Hi, Tina.
Only old people get that joke.
Yeah.
Say goodnight, Gracie.
Oh,
Good night,
wait.
Gracie.
I
Only
resemble that
really
remark.
grown-up people get that joke.
Yes, they are grown up.
Well, we have some good stuff to talk about today, literally good stuff to talk about. But before we do, Priscilla, do you want to give us an update on your home renovations?
It's getting there. It's getting close.
Almost wrapping up, huh?
Closer. Yeah, almost wrapping up. It's looking good. It's looking like the the den of tranquility that
I
is
think
my
it's
goal.
lovely.
It
Yeah.
is lovely. And I just set up an internet extender back there, trying to see if I can get the internet to live back there with me. So
That
we'll
would
see.
be awesome, wouldn't it?
Wi-Fi would be good, yeah, if I could
Hey,
get.
internet, we have this beautiful new master bedroom because it now extends to your master bedroom. Originally, your
Yeah.
renovations were limited to the bathroom, and then you got excited and added on. But
A
we have
sweet
this
retreat.
beautiful new master bedroom with a luxurious ensuite.
Hmm.
Come on, internet, join us.
Yeah, I think the Wi-Fi would want to live back there with me.
For
So
real,
hopefully,
for real.
fingers crossed.
Well, it
But
sounds
any day now.
exciting. I am happy for you. You deserve it. And I am looking forward to seeing it in person, all finished
Mhm,
up. I haven't seen the latest updates, so that will be exciting. Do
mhm.
you have any hot sauce that you would like to share with us today?
My hot sauce is kind of it was sort of self-serving, and you sent it to me, helping me out because I got in a little conundrum, I guess you would say. I was trying to use the phrase grin and bear it,
I think
or
you were saying
I was
something
saying
wasn't bearable
something
or
wasn't bearable. That was that word, bearable, unbearable, one of those. And I could not figure out how it's spelled because in my mind, unbearable should be A-R-E and not E-A-R, because I'm thinking of bears, like Fozzie or Smokey, and
yeah.
the bear, and middle name is the, and so I got stumped, and I asked you because I kept trying to type it in, and Siri kept changing it, and I'm like, that can't be. And I said, Tina, which one is it? I was so confused. And Tina found an article explaining that it is BEAR for if you say you can't bear something or grin and bear it or whatever like that. BARE is only naked, apparently.
Isn't
And
that
so
something?
this screws up and I don't know how many times I have spelled this wrong. Texting
I
or
guess a good
when
way to
writing.
remember it would be to say, you're not as big as a bear, so you can't handle some things.
I guess so.
Is
Well, the
that
one
a
in
good
the article,
analogy?
the article you sent me had said, grin and bear it with BARE would be like baring your teeth, like showing your teeth. And
Ah,
that would be redundant. So, I
that's
mean,
not a really good
bearing is
explanation, but
to be bare is to be naked or uncovered, or to uncover something as a verb. So
so that is your English lesson for
there, yeah,
today.
that's y'all's hot sauce of English, of grammatical correctness or
It
whatever.
reminds me of a dad joke that AJ told me this morning. It was something like, I definitely don't have the joke exactly. I will just share that, but you get the gist of it when I share what it was. He
Okay.
said, "How do you know if you're in hell?" And I said, I named a few people that I know and said because they're there.
That tracks with your mood this morning.
That does track with my mood this morning. It's been a rough morning for me. But then he said, no, they he said they use the wrong spelling of there. They say THEI, or no, they use what's the two words that people use incorrectly all the time? They
Your and your?
No, it's the one that they add an extra syllable to. Anyway, it was all about, it's not important, but it was all about grammatical errors. And
There's
that's how I
something.
know I was in hell, because all the people that speak incorrectly and use incorrect grammar would be there. And that's true. That would be my own personal little hell if I had to be with people that couldn't speak English properly.
Well, I mean, as long as they spoke their own language properly, then it might be, then you might be giving them hell.
This is true. But I'd be like, why would I be there? Because Siri's the only thing that ever messes me. Oh, now Siri's trying to answer me. Siri's the only thing that ever messes me up. I am usually correct, but Siri will sometimes get me. Anyway, it was
She
kind of
likes
a
to
dumb
correct
joke.
me
He
when
got
I'm
upset
correct.
that I didn't laugh at it, but
Siri likes to tell me I'm spelling things wrong when I'm spelling them right. She would change it to anything.
I know. And I
Not even,
tried to look and see if there was like a way to fix the dictionary, because it seems like words got saved in my phone's dictionary improperly.
yeah.
And I could never figure it out. It told me how to add a word, but then it still kept coming up. There was a friend of mine that spells her name differently from the typical spelling of it. And I tried adding her name to the dictionary. And unfortunately, I have another friend who spells it the typical way. And
Mm.
now I cannot seem to use my friend's typical spelling when I'm talking to her, because it keeps wanting to change to the non-typical
Mhm.
spelling of her name. And it puts it in all caps.
Yes.
And I'm like, what? Why are you doing that?
I kept trying to get my phone to put the accent on Renee's name, and now it spells, whenever I type Renee, it changes it to just all caps.
It's annoying.
So it's like, I talked to Renee today.
First world problems,
Screaming.
right? Oh, oh well. Well,
No.
we have a heartwarming topic to talk about today. As I think I mentioned that it was good, something good. It is something good. It's something good in the world. And we have seen throughout the generations people saying, young people today. And we want to tell you we are proud of some young people today. Currently in New Orleans, where we live in the greater New Orleans area, there is a convention for the Evangelical Lutheran Church of America. Young people. It's a youth convention. It's called the Youth Gathering. If you want to learn more about it, check your social media for the hashtag ELCAYG 2024. So again, it's ELCAYG 2024. Evangelical Lutheran Church of America Youth Gathering 2024. And there are 16,000 plus young people and their leaders from their churches in town for this convention. And they are clad in orange t-shirts and doing great things around the New Orleans area. Priscilla, would you share some of the wonderful things they're doing?
Sure. Well, I did come across some pictures of some things, so I know for a fact that there was a big group that went out and did coastal restoration stuff, which was pretty cool.
That's
They had these
awesome.
enormous square sacks. They looked fabric that didn't look like boxes of they were like neon green and they were filled with little, not little, I guess. I don't know how many pounds was in each one, probably 5 pounds of oyster shells in a netting, and they were taking those and placing them on the coastline and using those to build up the coastline and where it's eroding, to stop the coastal erosion. We have a program that happens right after Christmas every year with, they pick up people's old Christmas trees, the real ones, not the plastic ones, and use those to create a buffer for the coastline too. But they were doing it with these oyster shells, and these kids, they all had on big thick gloves to protect their hands, and they were doing some real hard work, and it looked like there was a lot to be done in the pictures. And I know they were working at one of the elementary schools doing cleaning and painting and stuff. And in the New Orleans Times-Picayune, it's NOLA.com online. They said that each day they're going to rotate across two different not two, 200 different locations to help improve the city spaces, helping clean up parks operated by New Orleans Recreation and Development Commission, and paint playgrounds. I saw some pictures on there. If you go to NOLA.com, you can see them painting and at the playgrounds and doing cleaning and stuff. And they're also working with the Public Works Department to clear storm drains of debris and litter and help beautify outdoor areas by the Women and Children's Shelter, which was just built recently to add more bed capacity. So they are doing a lot of hard work. And I know you know some real specific stuff because you saw it in action.
Yes, indeed. So Grace, our church, Grace Evangelical Lutheran Church of New Orleans, is located in the Lakeview area in New Orleans. And Priscilla and her son Joe and I helped yesterday. We volunteered our time to help lead the young people that came to our church to do some much needed work around our campus. And so we got to witness it. And as the media director of the church, I was really there as a volunteer, but I ended up as the media director running around setting up some technology. But also that gave me the opportunity to see every little working group in action. Throughout the last 3 days, we've had roughly 300 kids come, 100 per day, 300 kids with leaders adding to that count. And it has been amazing. I am getting pictures sent to me like crazy from all of the folks that are volunteering. When I'm not around, they send the pictures of what I'm missing. And just while Priscilla and Joe and I were there yesterday, they did so many cool things. They restriped the parking lot and added the handicap notations to the parking lot to make it safer for our congregational members to come and go. One of the issues that we have is that our parking lot is located right off the interstate or right at the entrance to the interstate. And people have a tendency to speed through and they'll cut across our parking lot sometimes. And a couple of just recently, there have been a couple of occasions where some near misses happened, and it was just, or actually, I never understood the term near miss. They missed these people, but we have a daycare center where we have kids coming and going, little toddlers and babies and their parents, and it's just not safe if the parking lot's not clearly defined. And so they put some barriers down and made the parking lot less harder to go through without slowing down. Let's put it that way. Some of the barriers that they added. And these kids were lifting these heavy things and not the barriers themselves, but they were doing some other heavy work where they were slating or paving an area around our church that we have some plants and things like that. They painted classrooms. They cleaned walls and got walls ready for paint. And it's really cool because I have to give a shout out to our leaders at Grace that they really prepared well for this. They looked at each area of the building and said, what needs to be done? How can we make this a progressive project that will happen over 3 days? So like on day one, some of the kids were actually prepping for painting by taping and doing all of that. Then day two, they were painting, and day three, they were removing the prepping and the tape and cleaning and sprucing up the areas. So it was progressive and it kept them busy. They felt good about their work, but while they were there, we shared with them our story of Hurricane Katrina and how we came through that. And it was just very touching and unbelievable to have these young people thanking us for allowing them to work for us. And what a blessing. And as the social media manager for the church, just seeing us get tagged in all of these pictures and how people are saying how wonderful it was to visit our church and to be part of that. And that's just our church, one location out of 200. And the other things that Priscilla mentioned are so important to the city, like what is going on at our church. Yeah, it helps our church and it also helps people in the community, because one of the things that the kids that came to our church did was they walked a 3-block radius and cleaned up all the trash on the interstates and Canal Boulevard within 3-block radius of our church, which was amazing. And it was hot and they did a fantastic job. We were going to send more kids out, but there was no debris left. I mean, it was all well done. And just sitting yesterday at the end, Priscilla, you left a little bit before me, but I was still picking up some of the technology stuff and I was listening in to the conversation at the end of the day with the leaders that were wrapping up what was done yesterday and pending for today. And just, I was blown away by how much was accomplished yesterday. Two of the folks, a young lady and her mother, actually took signs that I made and laminated them. And then they went around the building replacing signs that were up previously that I had remade and they had laminated. They replaced those all around the building. And it was, a lot related to recycling and safety and all of that. So that's just one small project that only took about a half hour. They were busy all morning doing so many wonderful things. Just amazing. And I know today the plans were to paint some of the daycare, the infant care center classrooms, and the art projects, and they worked with the little kids. I just wanted to have some of the youth come over and do a project at my house. I came home and I told AJ, I said, I'm so excited about what they did.
Should have borrowed some youths and brought them home.
Exactly. I mean, the whole group that was in, I don't know if you went in there at all, but the whole group that was in the fellowship hall, they teamed up with the children from the infant care center, the toddlers anyway, the 3 to 5 year olds, I guess, or 2 to 5 year olds. And they did these canvas squares that were, I think they were canvas. They looked like they were canvas. They were canvas squares that were framed, and they put their own designs on them. So each child or each youth had a different design that they put. And all of these squares, I think the total was 100, are going to go on this elaborate art piece that is going in the hallway of the school. And I am like so excited to see this finished. I cannot wait to see what the end product looks like, because I walked around the room and looked at the designs and they were so eclectic and so colorful. And I got so excited. I told AJ, I said, see, we could have like we could recruit a bunch of people in the family. It didn't even have to be kids. We could just recruit a bunch of people in the family. Like whoever comes to my Christmas party has to paint a square and paint something that makes them think about us or whatever. It's such a fun project. And it made me think of what you and I were talking about on our episode where we talked about summer fun that you can do during the summer to stay cool and have fun and be creative. I just got so tickled by that. I want to do something like that at my house. I think we should all team up together and do it, and we can do it for each house. There you go.
Okay. That sounds challenge accepted.
But I digress. The whole point is to share that these young people are being creative. They're sharing their physical labor. I mean, just unbelievable how hard they worked. I was just so touched.
And we can't forget our own either, our own group. We don't know all of what they've been doing because they've been so busy. We haven't been as like we're getting pictures from them, but it's hard to tell what's going on sometimes in the pictures. But I think that they were helping with putting together maybe some hurricane relief kits or moving them, or they were
They were
doing something
definitely
like that.
involved in distributing them, I believe.
Yeah. So that was that was really cool. Collections got taken up all over the country from all the various youth groups and Canada too. There's a group from Canada.
That's awesome.
And I think, and Puerto Rico.
Oh,
I'm trying
wow.
to think if there's anywhere else, but they all have been, sending in hurricane relief supplies, and they put them in these like I don't know how big they're, like 2 or 3 gallon like cans, like the popcorn cans.
Yeah,
Kind
yeah.
of like that. And they have they were putting stickers on them and doing, I think they were like loading them up or
That is
bringing
just the
them
coolest
around.
thing.
Somehow
And
they were doing
the
stuff with that.
stuff that you were talking about though, with cleaning out catch basins and helping with coastal restoration. These are young people between the ages of 14 and 18. Y'all, isn't that incredible? And this has gone on. It has taken so many years to prepare for this. I want to say they do the youth gathering every 3 years. Is that
Yeah.
right, Priscilla?
Right.
And we have been involved in this. Our congregation specifically has been involved with it for way before I started going to Grace and has always been helpful. I know that when Pastor Leon was at Grace, he helped the one year it was in New Orleans. He helped with all the transportation stuff, and some of our Grace members helped with transportation. It's not always in New Orleans, it's in different locations. And so we were blessed that it was in New Orleans this year, and New Orleans was the recipient of all this good work and all this donations. But the next time that you have a tendency to want to say young people of the day or complain about millennials, it's not good to stereotype anyone for any reason. And here's the reason why you shouldn't say stereotypical things about young people, because these kids were amazing and just so polite and friendly. And I texted AJ at one point yesterday and was saying how tired I was. And I said, I'm not even working that hard and I'm so exhausted. And he said, well, and I said, it's like a madhouse here, but I meant it in a good way. And he wrote back and said something like, well, you should have known you were going to be around all those kids or whatever. And I wrote back and said, oh, no, I don't mean it's a madhouse in a bad way. And I said, it's just so there's so much, like, it was overstimulating for me, I guess. That you found that as well, right?
That's one of
our
the problems with being ADHD.
And ADHD, exactly. And I know Livia probably would have not been able to handle it. She probably would have had to go hide somewhere because she gets upset with all the large crowds and all. And it was very crowded. These poor girls, I don't know if you saw it, but I think it was 3 or 4 young people were actually, I set up a projector and projected our Grace mission statement on the wall. And so it was the task of these young people to trace it onto the wall. And then today it got painted. And I saw a picture of it from an angle painted. I cannot wait to see the actual painting of it face on. The angle, it was hard to see the whole thing. But what a blessing. But it was so funny because unfortunately, where we had them positioned and where I had the projector, there was no way around it because we had to run an extension cord and all that stuff. People had to keep walking between them and the projector. And every time they did,
including us.
Including us, I think I must have went through there 8 times and said, sorry, because I kept blocking the projector and causing them to have to hesitate to wait to continue tracing. But I told one of them, I said, let's just pray that nobody actually bumps the table or the projector. I said, I should have taped the projector to the table and taped the table to the floor, because if the table would have gotten jostled, it would have caused them to have to try to line it back up. But it was very interesting watching the process. I told Mom about it yesterday afternoon because she used to do that whenever she did murals on walls, and she'd done many of them. She did them on our walls when we were kids, and she did them at church and all. And she had an old-fashioned projector that you just took a transparency and you put a light on top of it and it projected. So at least we had a computer with a projector attached. It was a little bit more modern. But what an interesting process that was. And those
That's so cool. Can't wait to see
I
it.
know. And the kids were so cool about it. They didn't get mad at us for running back and forth. One little guy, he decided he was going to go around the table so that he wouldn't walk between them. And the whole time he's doing it, I'm going, don't hit the table, don't hit the table. And I think Barbara, somebody, one of the other leaders, was standing there with their mouth open, like, oh my gosh, she's going to hit the table, because he was having to like squeeze past the table. There wasn't that much room between
tables crushed together.
Yeah, we had all those tables crammed together, not to mention the wall was there, and he was trying to get through, and he did it. He managed to get through without hitting the table.
He could have crawled. He could have just crawled.
That's what we should have done. We should have put a sign up that says you need
Please
to crawl.
Limbo.
Crawl from this point to here.
Put a limbo stick.
I was taping the extension cord to the floor, and I thought, this is some lazy butt taping, because I did not want to get down on that floor, because I said, I'm not going to be able to get back up. I'm too grown up to get back up off that floor. So I was trying to lean over and tape the floor, and I was getting heartburn. But what I just can't say enough about it. It was what an experience. And as a volunteer, even though we weren't really working because the kids were doing the work, we were just there to
supervise,
support them and help direct them as needed. And I had some fun with some of the kids. They asked where the bathroom was, and I told them we didn't have one. But it was so much fun. Just so much fun, and so wonderful to be part of that. And if you're not volunteering, and if you're not just learning about the good and all that, you're missing out. You're missing out on the world.
Yeah. Oh, and coming up on this gathering, in preparation for this gathering, Pastor was preaching on Sunday, last Sunday. Today is Sunday if you're listening. But last Sunday, we heard her sermon, and part of what her message was about how, it's like everybody knows the Whitney Houston song, I believe that children are our future, and everybody's always, oh, the youth are our future. The youth are not our future. The youth are our present. Because us old folks are not getting out there and getting stuff done. We've got our own agendas, and and there are more grown-up people who are out there making stuff happen. Yes, that does exist. But the youth of today, like you said before, we cannot keep calling millennials lazy. Gen Z is on fire more than anybody else. They are the generation that is leading. They are leaders. They are worried about everything, or not, I shouldn't say worried. They are actively concerned for the homeless, the elderly, the our infrastructure, our ecosystem, everything. They are actively saying, what do we need to be doing to make things better for ourselves in the future and for future generations?
Mm-hmm.
And our generation, even, and all the ones before, were more concerned with just living life and not worried so much about, taking care of this planet and the people on it, so that the young people wouldn't get stuck with garbage
Yeah,
and we dropped the ball. And so now they are picking it up, and they are intent in Gen Z, Gen Y, Gen and even Gen Alpha, which is the little guys coming up. They're all on fire with volunteerism, and I think it's so awesome. They
I
are
do
all very
too.
passionate, and
I do
it's great
too.
to see.
Yeah. And the other thing is that the young people of today, we hear a lot of political talk on social media and all. And I don't want to stereotype, because that's just as wrong as what, we said not to do. But if you look, I know for me personally, if I look at my friends list, the people that are politically motivated on there and saying political things, that are in my generation or your generation or older than us, or it's all lip. It's all
Mhm.
lip. They want to talk about, this one said this, and this one's an idiot, and this one's old, and this one's a liar, and this one's, sick and losing his mind. It's so frustrating. That's all they want to do is complain about the left or the right, or even the in between, but they're not doing anything. Whereas the younger people that I have on my friend list, I'm happy to say those younger people are the ones like Clover and Renee and all of their acquaintances who are spreading love and encouraging people to be inclusive,
Mhm.
and are out there volunteering and saying, what can we do to better use products? Let's use recyclable this, or let's use reusable this. And that is what needs to happen. And I agree with you that unfortunately, the young people today are paying the price for our generations that when we were coming up, we weren't aware. And a lot of it had to do with awareness. We just weren't aware. We thought we were doing a good thing. But now that we know what a state the world is in, environmentally, we need to all step up, and the young people are doing it. So hop on board, get on that young people train.
And, and one more little shout out to the young people. They're, we always got it preached to us that we should be Jesus with skin on, but the young people are the ones who are really doing it.
Mm-hmm.
They are the ones who are more Christ-like than all these people who are so worried about making America a Christian nation. They're worried about behaving Christ-like.
Amen.
And I love it. I'm here for it. Go, young
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, I have a lot of faith in the future. Watching what we saw this week, it was just incredible. And I'm sad that, and this is kind of off of the subject of what we're talking about, but not so much. You and I had decided that we were going to talk about this today. And we said, let's find some articles about young people doing great things. And I was shocked that there's very little publicity about it.
Mhm.
And there was very little publicity about this gathering this weekend. 16,000 young people in town doing wonderful things, and I haven't seen it on the news. What's wrong with that? People,
Oh,
the
no,
media
one
doesn't want to pick
article
up
was short.
stories.
Mhm.
They don't want to pick up stories where things are
Positive.
yeah. And they would rather focus on running 7 different stories about this one, doing something and this one doing all negative, all negative. How about we get the stories out there that these young people are doing amazing things? I know for me, I'm going to share some of these posts that I keep seeing for Alka Youth Gathering and get the word out because we need people to know our young people are amazing.
Yep.
That's all.
Now that you stepped off that soapbox, you want to step on
What?
I said, now that you stepped off of that soapbox, would you like to step up on your marinade box and tell us what to marinate on?
I will do that. So, one of the interesting things about July was that when you and I first were talking back in June about what can our topics be for July, there was a bajillion things about July, like all these, this day and that day and this month and that month and this week and that week. And so one of the things that we had talked about was pulling from that for our marinade and for our hot sauce. And I discovered today or yesterday when I was looking through the list again that yesterday was it today is we're recording on the 19th. So on the 18th, there was World Listening Day. So if you're listening on Sunday, it would have been this past Thursday, was World Listening Day, the 18th. And I just thought it would be a good opportunity to remind people. My sweet friend who passed away last year, God rest his soul, Chick Miller, used to say all the time, his favorite quote, and I don't know who originally said it, it might have been his mama, said, there's a reason that God gives you 2 ears and only one mouth. And that's so that you'll listen more and talk less. And so I just want to encourage everybody to listen more and talk less. Use those 2 ears more than you do that one mouth. And it's hard for loquacious people like me to do that. One of my challenges is being in a conversation and while the people are talking, I'm thinking about how I'm going to respond, and that's not right. While it's good because it makes you a good conversationalist in a way, it's also bad because you're not fully focused. And if you're so busy thinking about how am I going to respond to this, you're not listening fully to what they're saying. So just a little encouragement to you to listen more and talk less and really listen.
Mm-hmm.
And if you need an organization to teach you how to listen, you can always join Toastmasters. One of the exercises that Toastmasters do during their meetings is that they record ums and uhs and you knows, and we've gotten teased about that because we're kind of casual on this podcast, and so when you're speaking impromptu, it's really hard to eliminate those filler words. And then when you try to focus on eliminating them, it becomes even worse because you're just so nervous about it that you start stumbling. But anyway, when you're in a meeting in Toastmasters and you're the person counting those ums and uhs and you knows and so's and all the filler words, it really does develop listening skills in you. And the other thing is like some clubs will actually do a thing at the end where they'll take some random fact that was mentioned during the meeting. Like somebody might have given a speech about George Washington and his birthday and said some obscure thing about it. And so at the end of the meeting, they'll say, what did Tina say about George Washington's birthday that made it so special or whatever? And so they'll pull these random questions. So that's, and they call that person, we didn't ever do it in our club, but they call that person the listening master. And that person listens. So if you're involved in roles like that and your primary job function during the meeting is to listen for things, it trains you to listen. So it's just like anything that we do. The more you practice it, the better you become. So if you don't want to join Toastmasters and practice it that way, practice listening in your daily conversations and try to recall things people said or quotes they said. How many times has somebody introduced themselves and 5 minutes later you don't remember what they said their name was?
All the time. All the
Yeah.
time.
I was so proud of myself this morning. AJ, my husband, got a phone call about an upcoming test that he's having. And he put the person on speakerphone because he knew I would need to write down some information. And I was thankful that I was fully listening and I heard the woman say her name, and we were able to refer back to her name later in the conversation. So when she said, "Hi, this is Colleen," I remembered, I said, "Okay, Colleen." And I concentrated on it because I'm terrible about that usually. But you have to really focus.
Yeah. I've been trying to be more mindful when people tell me their name.
I
So
know.
I'm trying to make it stick. And some of these things I know are ADHD things and some aren't.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if that's one of those things, not being able to remember names. But I've been trying, but if you're mindful, like you say, and you listen to absorb it with that intention of absorbing it, I think it sticks a little better.
Oh, yeah.
At least for a little
Yesterday,
while. Until they
what?
walk away. At least
Right.
till they walk away and then you go,
Well,
what's that again?
so we all had name tags on yesterday.
Mhm.
And I was so upset with myself because I had a long conversation with the lady and her daughter that were doing the laminating. And the daughter's name I specifically looked at because I thought it said Brianna, and I realized it said Brenna, Brynnna, which I thought was really an interesting name and I liked it. And I was talking to her, Brenna and her mom, but it wasn't until Brenna and her mom were getting ready to walk out the church and I was standing by the media booth and I waved at them. And the mom said, "Tina, thank you so much. And thank you for sharing your story with us." Because I was telling them about when our house flooded in Hurricane Isaac, and they were so sweet. I mean, just so nice. And I was so disappointed in myself because I did not know the mom's name. And I know she must have been wearing a name tag, but I must have not looked at it.
Well,
But when they called me by name, then I felt bad. But, and I can't go back and fix it now, but I guess I'm going to comb through all the pictures and see if they're in a picture and I can zoom in on the name tag. So I'll at least know the name. I'm pretty sure I took a picture of them laminating, so I'll have to look at my pictures. Well, this was good. I enjoyed talking about young people.
Yeah, young people.
Maybe when Clover gets back, because Clover is one of those young people working hard. When Clover gets back, we'll have to get Clover to give us a little report on their experience at the youth gathering and some of the things they did.
For sure. That sounds good. Be good practice because they're going to have to present to church, I think, at some point their thoughts on it. So it'll be practice for that.
That's exciting. Well, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Yeah.
As for us, we'll have to think of what next week's topic is going to be.
Yeah.
July 30th is coming up, and that is the International Day of Friendship. So maybe we can do something about friendship.
That sounds good.
You guys let us know if you have any ideas for us to share in our upcoming episodes. I think this is episode 38. So it sometimes gets difficult to come up with topics, but we enjoy it. And I tell you, it's been a really educational. One of my friends asked me, does it take a long time to research and everything? And I shared, I said, no, usually one of us will take the lead and then we'll share articles or whatever with the other. And then we kind of sift through it and decide how we're going to approach it. So it's not a lot of work. However, it is a learning process. We learn a lot from reading the different articles and everything. Because we certainly don't come on here and just chat. We come armed with
We do chat a
information.
lot, but we don't just chat.
We do chat a lot, yeah.
Yeah. But the 30th is also Harry Potter's birthday, but I feel like I already addressed that. So I'm gonna like try real hard to zip my lips.
I know how you are when it comes
Actually,
to Harry
it's
Potter. You get
31st.
so excited. You can't
The
contain
31st
yourself.
is, but the 30th would be when we would mention.
It's the 30th. Well, the 30th's not a Sunday.
Oh, it's not? I thought.
No. Sunday is the 21st, so the next one would be the 28th. I just saw the 30th Friendship Day, and that got me all excited. So I didn't even think about what day it was.
Regardless, we will not talk about Harry Potter. I will restrain myself.
But whatever we talk about will be amazing.
It will.
It will.
It will be interesting.
So tune in. Tune in. Not only should you listen to this podcast all the way through, even all this gibberish at the end, but you should come back for the 28th and find out what else we have to say about maybe friendship and not Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
But until then, make yourself a priority.
And take care of you.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for joining us. Make sure you subscribe to keep up on all the latest sauce. See you next time.